Notre Dame versus Pitt is almost here, folks. Number 9 Fighting Irish playing on the road at number 22 Pittsburgh. We're going to have 3 keys for the game and a score prediction for the matchup. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Of course, subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel for more content. And go to blueandgold.com for staff picks, national picks, and much more ahead of this key contest for the Fighting Irish. And your first key, Tyler, is protecting CJ Carr. Pitt's pass defense is not very good. If you protect Carr, he should be able to light it up.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's pass rush is good. They're tied for 17th in team sacks with 2.67 per game. Notre Dame only allows 1.1 per game, and Notre Dame's pass protection has been very good. That's been the strength of the offensive line this season. I think CJ Carr plays a role in that too, in terms of getting rid of the ball and making sure that he's helping out his offensive line as much as he can. So I think that'll be important for Notre Dame, because I think stretching the field is an important aspect of Notre Dame's offense and what they're going to probably want to do against the Pittsburgh defense that's focused on stopping the run. So I think as long as Notre Dame can protect CJ Carr, I think everything else should work out in the passing game.
All right, let's move on to key number 2, forcing Pitt into turnovers.
Yeah, Pitt has given up 16 turnovers this season, 12 interceptions and 4 fumbles. Mason Heinschel has accounted for 5 of those interceptions in his 5 starts, and he fumbled twice against Stanford in Pitt's last game. So I think there's some opportunity there for Notre Dame to force some turnovers, which Notre Dame has been very good at this season. Notre Dame's tied for 10th in the country in turnovers gained with 18, 16 of those being interceptions and 2 fumbles. Maybe Notre Dame can change its fumble luck, because it has forced more than 2 fumbles, but it's only been able to recover 2 of them. But the interceptions obviously has been a big part of Notre Dame's defensive turnaround, especially in the secondary, the ability to pick off guys. And I think Mason Heinschel is capable of doing that as a freshman quarterback with a little experience now, but still maybe not going against the type of defense that Notre Dame will throw at him.
Yeah, I feel like Notre Dame's going to put up a lot of points in this game. Like, I don't know what the Notre Dame point total is in the over under, but I think they go north of 30 in this football game. So to prevent this being a close game, you got to stop the explosive passing play. So key number 3 kind of goes into key number 2. I feel like they mesh here. So preventing explosive passing plays. When you look back to that Texas A&M game, Marcel Reed, his completion percentage was not very good. It was, I want to say it was between 40 and 45% or something like that. But he picked up such big chunk yardage down the field. That's what is going to hurt Notre Dame, I feel like, against Pitt, is, to your point, if they pick up these explosive passing plays.
Yeah, Pitt is pretty versatile at the wide receiver position. They have 3 guys that they can all make big plays, and I think that will stress Notre Dame's defense. Obviously, Texas A&M, like you mentioned, they did a great job of exposing Notre Dame with long passing plays. A handful of teams did that to start the season against Notre Dame. That hasn't necessarily been the case as Notre Dame's defense has improved, but I think Pittsburgh's offense is certainly capable of doing that. Notre Dame just has to obviously do its best to prevent that. Getting Christian Gray back to play against Pitt will certainly be help. I think he'll be tested as well. I'm sure that Pitt will want to see how healthy he is and if he's back to form, and if he's potentially a weak link in the secondary. Pitt is tied for 8th in the country with 6 receptions of 50-plus yards this season. Wow. Notre Dame's only given up 2 of those, but those aren't very frequent anyway. So the fact that Pitt has 6 of them is pretty impressive.
Sure.
But I think those are something that can happen unexpectedly, right? It's not necessarily doesn't have to be a deep bomb either. Like, it could be yards after the catch, a coverage break. Like, there's a number of ways that Pitt can do that. And even Mason Heinschel sort of scrambling a bit, extending plays and creating opportunities for his wide receivers downfield. So that's something that I think Notre Dame's really needs to focus on defensively.
Tyler, can you tell us more about Heinschel, this Pitt freshman quarterback?
Yeah, he's pretty impressive. I think to come in and help out Pitt and really start this winning streak that Pitt has gone on. And he's come in there and I think made these wide receivers more more dangerous, I guess would be the best way to describe it, in terms of his ability to extend those plays, his ability to recognize what's going on. He seems to be fairly advanced for being a freshman and understanding what defenses are trying to do. He could be a little bit reckless with the football, like we talked about with the 5 interceptions he's thrown so far, and put the ball on the ground a couple times with fumbles. So Notre Dame needs to sort of create some chaos to impact him, but he's certainly talented and I think has a little bit, it has some sort of intangibles about him that allow him to sort of rally the group around him and inspire some confidence in a Pittsburgh program that was heading the wrong direction
Right.
earlier in the season, and he's put them back on track.
One more question for you before we dive into the score predictions. So, like, early in the season, you'll beat a team who's ranked, and then they drop out of the rankings, right? If Notre Dame beats Pitt, they'll drop out of the top 25. But we know what the committee thinks about Pitt right now. They have them as the number 22 team in the country. So for Notre Dame, look, obviously, if Notre Dame wins out, it's a high likelihood they're going to be into the field of 12, right? But I guess just how big of a statement is this? How big of a statement could this be for Notre Dame to beat a team that the committee does like a good bit?
Yeah, I think it's important for Notre Dame because Notre Dame doesn't have a lot of those wins, right? I think that's part of why it's so big for Notre Dame is because yes, we believe that Notre Dame's going to be in as long as it wins out, but to strengthen its resume, maybe bump it up a seat or two, or prevent other teams from jumping ahead of
Right.
them. A win like this is necessary, and Pittsburgh can go out and lose to Notre Dame and then win its next two games against Georgia Tech and Miami, and then that could make the Pitt victory look even better for Notre Dame.
Sure.
So maybe Pitt jumps back into the top 25 after that. So I think there is plenty of value in this for Notre Dame. It's certainly not going to be like beating an Alabama or Georgia, the things that Oklahoma and Texas have a chance to do this weekend. But I think a win over Pittsburgh will be a nice part of a strengthening Notre Dame resume.
Yeah. Yeah. This game obviously means a lot to Notre Dame. It doesn't mean jack shit. Excuse me. Sorry for cussing to Pat Narduzzi and Pitt. Apparently, they can lose by 100 points, and it is okay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you've been living under a rock. Notre Dame is a 12.5 point favorite in this game. As we record this, according to BetMGM, sponsor of this YouTube channel and our parent company On3, opened at 10.5. So maybe after Narduzzi's comments, people started betting Notre Dame because it sounded like Narduzzi's given up. But at 12.5, you can see it on the left side of the screen share there. 57% of people are betting on Pitt plus 12.5 for BetMGM. And 8% are on the money line for Pitt to just pull off the upset outright. Jeremiah Love minus 400 to have a touchdown against Pitt as an anytime TD score. So yeah, Jeremiah Love's probably going to get in the end zone as he typically does and usually does often, or excuse me, early in the game. So that's what the Vegas lines say for this matchup. Tyler James, what's your score prediction for Notre Dame and Pitt?
Yeah, I have Notre Dame 35, Pitt 20. So I would have Notre Dame covering there. I've been sticking with my score predictions that I predicted all the scores for the rest of the season at Notre Dame's second bye week. So
I like it.
just sticking with that. So I didn't know what the line would be, so it's not necessarily inspired by the line. But I think Notre Dame can score enough to beat this Pittsburgh team. I think Pitt will have some offensive success. Maybe Notre Dame can slow it down in the red zone in a couple situations and force them into field goals. But I like Notre Dame's chances to be able to, especially throw the ball against this Pitt defense, and make Pitt pay for loading up to try to stop the run.
Yeah. I'm going to take a wacky score. Give me like 33-18 or something random. Going 33-18. Don't know how they're going to get to those point totals. Maybe in a missed extra point or go for two somewhere. I'm knocking on wood for the missed extra point for Eric Schmidt. But yeah, give me 33-18. That's what I'm going with. Notre Dame cover.
All right.
Yeah, so there you go. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Watch more of our videos on this channel. Of course, our channel dedicated to coverage from Tyler James and Eric Hansen is linked in the description of this video. And blueandgold.com is your place to be for so much more preview content of this game. And make sure you lock into this YouTube channel. Right after the game, we will be live with Eric Hansen to break it all down. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next time.